You know what Pokemon deserves more attention? That's right, this little cutie patootie right here. Her name is Tinkatink, and she evolves into one of my favorite Pokemon, Tinkaton. Just look at them. Tinkatinks are so adorable, and they deserve to be happy. So today, we'll be making these sweet and happy Tinkatinks, named Tilly, Tessa, and Tori. I had all of this dark pink clay left over from when I made my Tinkatons last year, and I couldn't imagine making anything else from this very specific, very unnatural color of clay, so Tinkatinks were the perfect choice. I start by rolling out a cylinder for Tilly's legs, which I then bake and cut into two separate legs. Tilly's tiny torso gets blended into her two tiny legs, and then goes in the oven for a quick baking. While we get started on Tilly's head, let's dive into some Tinkatink trivia. Tinkatink first evolves into Tinkatuff, and then finally into Tinkaton. Tinkatink carries a crude cylindrical hammer with a short handle, which resembles a baby rattle. She creates her own hammer using iron scraps, remaking it as many times as she wants until she's satisfied. Tinkatink uses the hammer to protect herself. However, the hammer is often stolen and eaten by Pokémon with a metal diet, like these jerks. And lastly, Tinkatink and the entire Tinkaton evolution line are a female-only species. How do they reproduce, you might ask? Well, I have no idea, but some theorize it's with the help of dittos. But another much more interesting theory is that they could reproduce through a process called parthenogenesis. Parthenogenesis is a form of asexual reproduction, in which an embryo develops directly from an egg without the need for fertilization. Isn't that fascinating? So what do you think? Let me know your theories in the comments. After drilling some armholes on Tilly's torso, it's time to make her some big, strong arms. You know, unlike a lot of Pokemon designs that feel like they were just thrown together overnight, Tinkatink's entire evolution line is so well designed, from the shape and size of her body to the size of her arms. She's built for wielding powerful tools and sneaking around to steal metal parts, and in some cases to steal back her hammer from other Pokemon. Next up are Tilly's adorable little digits, which start off as little balls of clay, which I then blend into the hands. As I work on that, here's another bit of Tinkatink trivia. I originally thought Tinkatink's design was based on dwarves, since she's tiny and metalworky, but Tinkatink's evolution line is actually based on the enchanted Mora from Portuguese folklore. And honestly, that makes sense, because Paldea, the region that Tinkatinks are native to, is based on the Iberian Peninsula, which is comprised of Spain, Portugal, and Andorra. After attaching a nice little sheet of hair to Tilly's head, I add a small spherical divot in preparation for her ponytail. Then I roll out a little cone of very light pink clay for her ponytail and attach it onto her head. Oh, looks like it's time for another bit of Tinkatink trivia. Let's see here. Ah yes, in Japanese, Tinkatink is known as Kanu-chan, which is a combination of kanuchi, which means blacksmith, and the Japanese diminutive suffix chan. So she's literally a little blacksmith girl. I love that so much. And the English name Tinkatink is a combination of the words tinker, which is an archaic term for someone who mends household utensils, and tink, a sharp metallic sound. Before permanently painting my girls' faces, I pencil on their facial features so that I can erase as many times as needed when I inevitably make them asymmetrical over and over again. Here's one of my favorite bits of Tinkatink trivia. Well, this time it's trivia of her evolutions, Tinkatuff and Tinkaton, but still Tinkatink adjacent. Tinkatuffs are known to attack groups of Pawniard and Bisharp, gathering metal from them in order to create larger and sturdier hammers. And to one-up that, Tinkatons knock rocks into the sky with their hammers, aiming for flying Corviknights. So if I'm understanding this correctly, when Tinkatinks evolve, they take revenge on the Pokemon that used to bully them. So, you know, don't bully people. After painting on Tessa's facial features, I clean up my paintwork with my X-Acto knife. Next, I move on to the face that I'm most scared to paint and mess up, Tilly's. But luckily, and without my camera's assistance, I was able to paint on Tilly's eyes without any mishaps. Since I wanted to have my girls' hair color match the blush on their faces better, I also dry brushed their hair to be the same color. And the final sculpting step for our Tinkatink's bodies is their little diamond chest plate armor, which I initially incorrectly added a line through the middle of because I somehow misinterpreted my 2D reference image. But after looking at a 3D image of her, I realized, of course, it would make more sense for the chest piece to pop out rather than dent in. so I sanded that first chess piece to correct it. With a few chess pieces made and ticky-tacked to some cardboard, I paint them all a light metallic purple, followed by a lighter metallic purple dry brushing. Tilly's eyes then get some light purple touch-ups, and all the girls get their foot blushes added. And before our snack break, I glue all of our Tinkatinks chest plates on. If Tinkatinks were a candy, I'd imagine they'd be a lot like these strawberry-flavored marshmallows with jelly fillings. The only thing they'd probably also have is a hard candy shell. But in the case of this snack, it's perfect just the way it is. And the jelly filling surprisingly paired really well with the soft marshmallow exterior. Since I somehow forgot to film the making of Tilly's hammer earlier, let's make another one. I start off with a toothpick base for the handle, which I wrap some Sculpey clay around. And while I work on the rest of the hammer, here's our final bit of Tinkatink trivia. As I mentioned before, I really love all the thought put into the design of Tinkatink's evolution line. This is especially the case for her hammer's design. What starts off as a baby rattle evolves into a sturdier, more powerful hammer after Tinkatuff adds more metal pieces onto it. And then, it evolves into the most badass hammer you've ever seen, in her final Tinkaton evolution. After sculpting and baking our baby's hammer, it's time to give it a light metallic purple base coat. And then I drop it to test its durability. Then I give it a coating of the wrong dark purple color. This is followed by a coating of the correct dark metallic purple color. After some final varnishing touches, our girls are ready for their photo shoot. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.